This is a basic instruction on the setup of the Brackett utility machine. Okay, the best way to lift this machine is to come in with the forklift and come underneath through to the other side. Watch for clearance on anything, but you should be able to bring your forks into this area, lift the entire machine up off the skid, and then place it into position. The machine will come to you requiring 220 single phase power, and basically you get the power to it, and then you would everything else should be ready to go except the work collection box. Basically it is these two screws, and this raises and lowers it. So you come up off of these rods onto these rods, set a tilt that works best for the product you're running, and that's by lowering this one and raising this one up, getting your level down to where you can catch as much work, big a pile as you would like. So and then you position it this way with these adjustments, and then you can adjust it for the length of your product by moving this forward or backwards. Right now the work comes out in this position and is falling like that. So once this side is set, it's basically your work gets this way. It shouldn't have to make an adjustment to this, but it is adjustable both this way and this way, and tilt. So you've got the power to your machine, and now you're going to set up to do your first job. Again, the basic controls are your on-off switch, and this is your speed control, power on indicator light. The other controls are your auto manual switch and your jog button. And when you're in manual, then you can jog the machine, and that's how you would set it up in the setup mode. So we're going to put this into manual, and then the next thing that you're going to do is set the machine for the thickness of your work. This machine will do from 1 sheet of chipboard up to 1 1/4 inch thick work. The way you adjust the machine is to raise the head, put your work in at least past these two rollers, adjust the head down until you see the shaft that goes through the spring-loaded roller just released from the bottom. I can kind of show you that. And what you're looking for is just a little bit of pressure, not too much. And this is probably one of the most critical adjustments, in that if your work is skewing or pulling, then you would want to release a little bit of pressure or add a little bit of pressure to get the pad to go through straight. That is the only adjustment you need to do for the thickness of the work. There is no adjustment necessary for length. Once you've got the thickness, then you can jog the work on out of the machine. And then you're ready to start your tape onto your product. To start the product, the tape onto your product, basically, if you do not get the glue pot, you will not have this adjustment, this post here. Okay, this won't be here. You'll be coming directly over to this guide here. But what you do is just start it on the front. You can use a dummy pad, a pad that you had before. Over and over, you can use it for your starter pad. And then you get your tape loose. Again, you're in manual on your electrical switch. Then it's just a matter of getting it in, up into position. And then you kind of get your tape straightened out. Again, this will not be here if you don't have a glue pot involved. You're coming around this way, your adhesive's on this side. I've got it attached to the product. I've got it in manual. Now I'm just gonna help it in, jog, and there it is, and in, and then you would go to automatic, and there's the scatter, the feeding, your work in. We adjusted the head. All of these attachments, the stripping, we call them stripping attachments, and they form the tape around the book. They should all be set because all of these move with the upper head, and that is controlled by this knob. So the only thing that you should really need to do is you would center this point, which holds the tape in place while the rotary wiper wipes the tape on. Center it on your product. If you had 1 1/4 inches, you'd have to move that up a little bit, okay? Everything else should be adjusted. Then you're dealing with this adjustment here. This is the width of your tape, and it's as easy as moving this collar up and down until your tape width is just inside there and can't move up and down. And then there's this adjustment, which moves this whole assembly up and down. Okay, so what we're doing is we're going to center the tape or set our overlap. If you want more tape on the front than you want on the back, if you want even amounts, you can do all that right here just by turning this wheel and getting your tape in position. You have this set, then you can use a straight edge to come over and set that at the same level as what the spool is. And that's the bottom surface of this right here. It's the bottom of your tape, and this is the bottom of your tape on this spool, so you just come across and make those even. Now if you needed to make minor adjustments after that, you probably won't need to move the spool. It just needs to be somewhat parallel with and that would work fine. When you need a new roll of tape, you can very easily splice the tape. This would, you know, and you can just overlap it, splice it into position, and you're off and running. It should be spliced in very, very easily using the adhesive that you've got. Just get it on there, tighten it up, and then you wouldn't have to go through the resetting up. The knife is adjustable, and the first thing you should know about the knife is that it is in a cocked position. Okay, and we're saying basically to trip the knife before you would open or move this assembly. So I'm going to show you how to do that. It's best to clear the machine. The knife is now ready to fire. Power on, power off, doesn't make any difference. Once this star trip thinks the product's coming over it, it is going to release a mechanical latch and tell the knife that is spring loaded to cut. So first thing you do is come over here, trip it. You can hear it trip. Now the knife is not in a cocked position and we can make the adjustments. If your machine gets a glue pot, then it will come with these rollers and the glue pot assembly. The glue pot is just hanging on this rod, and really the glue pot is pretty self-explanatory how to thread it and get it on. And the only thing about the alignment of this is really this roller right here, the height of this roller. When you come up and you make the turn, which most people don't have this, but you can, when you make the turn here, this level then is your guide level and would be the same as that level that your tape is being put into. See? So what you do is you adjust that roller here up and down until you get it where it's traveling easily, because you could raise it up and this tape will just start coming up, up, up. You want it to settle down about right here, and that's about the only thing you need to do is that height adjustment. The pressure sensitive drive is adjustable in speed, and what you're controlling is the speed of this rubber roller that is helping assist pull the tape off of the roll. And to change the speed of this roller, let's say that it was pulling hard and you could tell there was too much tension, then what you'd want to do is increase the speed. And you do that by taking the guard off that was here. I think there's screws on the top and the bottom. This is a variable speed pulley. You loosen the set screw, and to increase the speed you would turn it clockwise, and to decrease the speed you would counterclockwise. And you turn it until you get onto a flat. So what you've got is a flat here, and then halfway around you got another flat. So you could turn it a half a turn or a full turn and then set screw it back in. You can increase the speed of this roller then by adjusting the variable speed pulley. If you were going too fast with this, then your tape would end up bagging. It would actually be bagging over here and not staying taut. Taut is good because taut means that your work will go, your tape will stay straight and not sag. And so you could get to the point where you could go so fast with this roller that you'd be overrunning the speed of the product going through. And you'll tell that by looking at it here. So you could increase speed until you saw the bag, and then back off on the speed of this roller until you see it just tighten up, and off you run.